Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today we're going to be going into another lovely miniatures unboxing. If you have seen my last one about the last god tier, we're going to continue that kind of going with another god tier. And if you hadn't checked out that one, that was god tier on, let me if I can remember what they're called, Lily and the Thorn Slingers. Yeah, that was the last one. That was a pretty nice box, but now we're going to get to a different group. This one is Kira, the Dragon Princess, and Young Dragons. There is the box itself. As you can see, it's a pretty simple box. Around the same size as we're looking at with the last one. I do have to say, the artwork looks nice. Let's take a look at the artwork on the box, because I do like this artwork. It's pretty nice and not too shabby. They could have gone a lot cheaper with it, but they did really nice artwork. These are some nice depictions. So, pretty cool. I believe this is I'm not sure if the Fire faction, but it does come with Kira, 2 young dragons, and the banner. And I gotta say, this is cool. Basically, I'll be using her as a dragon princess type character. Maybe she's a prince of the dragonoid race or some stuff like that. But we're gonna open this up and take a look. So let's let the old blade of opening here do its job, and we'll get right to that. Okay, so I just got all the plastic off. I had to do that off screen for you guys just because I don't want you guys to hear all the annoying plastic rip. So here are the cards. Got Kira's card herself. Pretty nice. I'm going to open them up because I'm curious their stats and such like that. So let's see what's going on inside of the recording on that. Okay, so this is the Fire brand. I'm guessing that's their element, kind of the Pokemon idea. I believe it's probably strong against, for instance, Lily. We do get 2 card stats. That's pretty much it with Kira herself with her champion card. I'm going to assume this is what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's her command card, so to speak. I'm going to keep these cards. They're pretty cool. I like the artwork on them. They're pretty simple. And we've got the young dragons are the followers of Kira, so she does lead that. They have Draconic Rage. She has Royal Summons and Regal Blessings. They have Flight, so that's pretty cool. Okay, and with these Dragons Fly ability in this game, if I ever do decide to play God Tier with some friends, they actually seem to be able to fly through an opponent's square, so that's pretty cool. Gotta say, pretty cool. But let's take a look at the first one here, because we've got some, as you can see, 4 miniatures. Let's take a look at the littlest one first. I always want to take a look at the littlest. But let's set up my turntable, and we'll get right back to it. Okay, so here we have the small... honestly, I think this is supposed to be the banner. Now, if you remember with Lily, they had this same thing where they had this kind of little set piece. This one, on the other hand, a reason I really wanted this is the banner itself, as you can see, is quite useful. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, that is a hatchling dragon. How awesome is it that we are getting a dragon baby in this set? Now, I will also go over the price. We'll do that later. Also, guys, if you come this far in the video, I thank you. As always, guys, make sure you hit that like button and also fire blast that subscribe button. Small click for you, but greatly appreciate it from me. Helps the channel grow, and as always, share with your friends. Make sure you share because it helps the channel grow. The more it grows, the more cool stuff we're going to get into. But looking at this dragon, as you can see, it has a lot of lovely details going on there. Sorry, my focus is just resetting itself. But yeah, I love the egg sitting on top like a kind of pillar, I guess you'd call it, with a little dragon baby just coming out. Now, as I said with Hero Quest minis and the others, sometimes these details don't pop through well, but this one actually pops through pretty nice for what you're seeing. I probably should have quickly slabbed some black primer on it or something to help sort of the edges pop, but you know what, it looks really good. It's a very nice looking hatchling dragon, which we don't have many miniatures of them hatching. WizKids definitely has it, and even though this is a medium class creature, which a baby dragon basically is, a wormling is that, this makes perfect sense. Now, would I use this for every dragon? Probably not. I would definitely say this would be useful for I want to say a wyvern, maybe. Or a red dragon, maybe a drake. You could definitely use this for multiple creatures, so that's at least nice. Paint this up as a generic dragon, and then it could be a stand-in for anything. Honestly, I would love to get a bunch of these. I'd make different colors for dragons. I'd even start like altering them. Like I'd put the horns on for purple or for blue dragons. I'd do the goat horns for black dragons. Maybe shave down the nose a bit. A green dragon, I'd put a sail on the head a little bit bigger. You know, stuff like that would be kind of cool. Now I gotta say, this is nice though. Okay, I've gusted about getting a cool baby dragon, which I've always wanted to get a good mini of that. But let's move on to the next, shall we? So next up, we have one of the actual dragons of Kira. Yeah, Kira. And her dragon. And as you can see, this is actually probably more considerable to like Game of Thrones style dragons, or the two-winged dragons, which would be more in your wyvern class. It does have a very pointy tail, and the wings look really nice. Like there's a lot of good detail here. It does do a lot what pterosaurs do with the whole walking on the like sort of knuckles, I guess you'd call it. The claws look good. There's a lot of great detail. It's got some like lovely little bit of like chains or like a little chest piece there, which is kind of cool. So like it's got some style to it. And comparatively to others, which I will do a comparison here in a second with some other wyverns, but we'll do that once I get to the and some dragons and such. Actually, mostly wyverns and drakes, considering these are good for that. Now this one's definitely a bulk one because the other one in the set is a little bit on the skinnier side, which maybe this is a male and the other one's female. I don't know. You could use it for some nice dimorphism, but if you're looking for some good like wyvern minis, this guy looks like a good brute, like kind of rock wyvern or something like that. But let's get to the other one though, shall we? So here is the second one, and this one is actually very nice. I like how it looks. It's got a very nice sort of almost regal look to it. Now, it does sort of scream more of a speed wyvern. This one, unlike its big, bulkier friend, definitely has more on the lines of like a speedier build. Like it's thinner, it's cleaner, there's not as much rigid spikes for air resistance. It's mostly like lovely sails and like some fins. And the face is more slender, probably meaning more of like a speeding hunt style to this creature. Sorry, my camera's going to autofocus on its own every now and then. But yeah, it's a very nice model. Very nice for a good wyvern. It's got the nice walk style too, but it does stand up a little taller with its design, which is also nice. Honestly, this model here is definitely good. I got to give God tier credit. So far in both boxes, I haven't really come across a model I'm not a fan of. Like, I haven't come across even like their banners where they're not obviously a piece. But so far, pretty nice. But let's get to the main lady herself, the champion of this box, Kira. So here's the grand lady herself, the queen of these dragons, Kira. And I gotta say, or sorry, princess, I keep saying queen. But she has a good look. I like the hair coming down this controlled ponytail with like the little segments there, kind of almost like a dragon tail-esque off her lovely crest she's wearing. Now, I'm probably going to use her artwork basically just like with Lily's. I'm going to use her artwork to inspire my paint jobs because they're very well designed. Now, her skin tone is questionable. I don't know if I can match that. I might make it maybe just human skin and call it a day. But and another thing on top of this, she is large size. She is bigger than a human or a medium class character, which if I have any medium characters quick to grab, which, oh, you know what? Perfectly. There we go. I will use one of these. So I'm quickly going to put out one of my orcs from the Hero Quest. I forgot that was actually near my... let's do a quick comparison. So we'll start comparing and looking at these, shall we? So here we are looking at Kira next to an ogre, or sorry, an orc. I want to say ogre, but an orc kind of berserker. If you do remember, guys, this was from the Hero Quest expansion box I reviewed. You guys want to check that one out, go over to my videos in there and you can see it too. This is a pretty nice comparison because she is taller. Now, I don't think she's ogre size. Like, I think an ogre would still stand taller than her. And actually, if you do notice, let me just try to turn a little bit there. She is actually holding a baby dragon in her arms, which is kind of cool. And she's got this lovely headpiece, a good scepter staff. I would probably say most likely in battle she'd be a caster or a druid with like kind of druidic powers that focus more on dragonian powers, like some type of fire blast or a lightning cannon that shoots out there, or a spark ball. Something like that would make sense for her. Because I would assume most dragons would revere and respect her. And honestly, based on how her dress hits the ground, I don't know if I'm going to want to try to do any like flocking on this base. I might. I'm trying to think if I want to actually do some line work and make it look stone-based. Like do a little rough up with some sandpaper. Try to rough up the edges there and then just like kind of make it look like a stone under her feet. That might be my best idea for her. But anyway, Now you know what you might be looking for. So, guys, do check out my Twitter, by the way, for Drake on Twitter. That's where I post a lot of my finished pictures and stuff. So, if you want to see what happens when I finally get around to get these guys on the old painting table and slapping them up with some lovely paint. But we did review her. Let's go back to the other dragons because I do want to compare them in size to some of the other dragons that you do get available for like your D&D or other tabletopping purposes. Okay, so first up we're comparing it to a drake from the Pathfinder line. This is actually the Sea Drake. This is one of those drakes that really is a good one to get your hands on if you're looking for a good oceanic drake monster or something like that. It's pretty cool. I love the translucency on the lower wings there. It's kind of serpentine build, these wings. And it actually, just like them, does not have forearms. So the Sea Drake, whatever category of drake it is, these would definitely work as drakes if you didn't want to use them as wyverns. And I will compare them to a wyvern from Wizards of the Coast later, so don't worry, guys. I know someone out there is probably thinking, but what about Wizards of the Coast and their wyverns or their drakes? And I will compare to one of their drakes as well as also like one of their wyverns. So don't worry, that is coming. But I'm going to compare it to another drake and kind of show what it's pretty similar looking to in size from the Pathfinder side of things. Okay, so here they are next to a Rift Drake, which is another drake, which honestly could be a maybe alternate wyvern species, another thing you could use for a wyvern. It's got that little pump tail bit, like it looks like a stinger sort of going on there, which is kind of nice. And I gotta say, like next to them, they aren't that much bigger. They're pretty similar in size, so they're really well based for their size. But we will also compare them to Wizards of the Coast. So that is coming. Don't worry, I know. Someone's probably thinking that. And I gotta say, they match up well. Because of their style, they could easily work for a D&D mini, for a Pathfinder mini, or even like, I know it might be really weird to say this one because I know any Warhammer fan's probably going to comment and say, how dare you? But you could probably even use them, if you didn't want to use them for God tier, Age of Sigmar. There are dragons in that universe, and these are some smaller ones. Maybe these would be more on the idea of like personal mounts or companion dragons, something like that. Like the idea of going into battle with a winter wolf at your side. Now you're going in with a young dragon. And honestly, these are pretty cool. They match other lesser dragons, which I like. These two dragons don't look like they'd grow up to be full-powered, gargantuan, ancient terrors. I mean, they could turn into small gas dragons where they're really big and powerful, but, you know, I see these more like a sort of lesser dragon guards. Like, they're powerful and can take on most threats, and maybe they have to combine their force to take on bigger threats, but for a simple, like, kind of royal guard thing, it kind of is cool for this dragon princess. But now let's compare them to some Wizards of the Coast stuff, and I will put the baby dragon up there for those, just because, like I said, it's kind of in the Wormling scale for them. Wormling scale for Pathfinder, I don't even want to compare it, just because, like, their Wormling scale, for instance, their copper was really big, and it should have been on a large base, because it could not stand properly on its medium base. But let's move on, before I digress and keep ripping on stuff. Okay, so starting with a Drake, and yes, you can notice I did put Kira up there as well for her size. Yeah, these dragons would work really good for being next to these drakes. Because this is a Rage Drake or whatever. I think it's a Rage Drake. Hold on, let me check. Yes, sorry, I was just making sure. But yes, it is a Rage Drake. And this is from like the, I believe it was, what was that set called for that day of Wizards of the Coast? Or older back in the day when they used to, Hasbro made them. What is it? I think it was like Dragon Drums of War or something. Somewhere like that. Or like Desolation Sands or something. That's where this one came from. And I've actually had two of these. Now, neither of them have actually come from the set itself. Like, both of my Rage Drakes that I have for these, if I ever put them on Twitter, I don't know if I did at the time, but I do have two of these. One's a red model and one's a green one. And I just thought, like, very simplistic green, because I thought, why not? I didn't want to have two of the same look. Plus, in the table, it's easier for my players to say, hey, I want to attack the green one, not the red one. Makes sense. Now, as you can see, though, they do work pretty good next to this Drake. A Rage Drake is on your bigger-sided Drakes. Like, this is right before you get to the maximum size for Drakes, which is huge most of the time. Though, granted, I'm not sure if a Dragonelle counts. Because we've seen the WizKids Dragonelles from when I opened up the Treasury of Dragons set. So that's a tough call. And those things are I think those are lesser dragons, though, if I remember correctly, properly. Or at least as I classify them. But Pretty cool. But let's compare him to another creature and more iconic from the WizKids line. And there we have the full group next to the Wyvern. Now, this is the unpainted Wyvern from Wizards of the Coast, and WizKids, their unpainted line. And this one I went very traditional with it. I gave him the purple tongue like he's a poisonous reptile, which they are. I went with that simple paint job. I literally actually did look at the paint job from the Wizards of the Coast Wyvern that came in the Monster Menagerie sets. And I really went with that for my design here. And as you can see, sorry, this Wyvern, unlike the other Wyvern, is way bigger. I like to call this my Alpha Wyvern, like he's the limit of a Wyvern's size. Because normally Wyverns don't get huge. Only in rare circumstances. And I gotta say, this one, though, could easily go with them and make like kind of a Wyvern unity thing going. And yes, he is on a large base, and I do like how he's not on the flying bases that we know WizKids in the past had made that were really crappy. But yeah, it could easily work on any tabletop game. I think, honestly, these could stand anywhere. And I mean anywhere. You could put these on Warhammer tables. You could put these painted up on a D&D table, onto a Pathfinder table, onto even like, I was going to say, like the horror game for Cthulhu-esque, but I'm like, I guess if you really wanted to make them really grungy looking and maybe more aggressive, they could work for that. If you want to use them for wyverns, dragons, I think they would be great for any of those fill-ins. And Kira here, you're getting a very nice NPC that you could throw on the table to be like something the group has to work with or work against. Maybe she's the big bad and her dragon's trying to conquer the world for the Draconian Empire. Or, sorry, the Dragonian Empire. Maybe she is trying to save the world from Lily. If you, I know I'm throwing a throwback to her, but maybe her kind are just trying to renaturalize the world and all technology advancements must die, including the races that use them. So it's like, oh no, humans and dwarves definitely must go. We'll keep elves, but humans and dwarves gone. What about orcs? Also gone. They ravaged the land. It's like, dang. I mean, could be really cool to use them like this. I mean, she gives a new story. On top of that as well, she does bring up a thought that she could be a representation of the steel dragon of Waterdeep. Because in the lore of D&D, there is a noblewoman who's actually a steel dragon. And her humanoid form, which this could definitely work as, I say noblewoman because she's very like, she's got connections more than she's really like nobility by birth, but she is from a dragon, so technically pretty noble. But yeah, I would definitely say, guys, now I got this set for, let me just quickly look at my list here just to make sure I'm remembering the proper scale of that, because I don't remember if it was like low or high when I got it. It was on sale. I just want to make sure I give you guys exact numbers. So, okay. So when I bought it, it was on sale for $13.99. And normally, I think it was what? Around $20. So I was like, that's not too bad. Around $7 off. That's pretty sweet. For a lovely group of some dragons, as well as we're getting a life stage dragon. We're not just getting a dragon, we're getting this dragon here. I'm pointing out with the blade. And this one is awesome because it is the life stage of other dragons. Something we don't get. We don't get a lot of wormlings in box sets, at least not till recently. And this one is hatching from an egg. Another kind of like cool dynamic style entry into the game. Like an entry into the world, so to speak. Like it's hatching into the world. Cool. I love that. That kind of stuff made me really enjoy this set when I opened it. And honestly, I am probably going to look into maybe at some point trying to put a Game of God tier together. Not sure how it works, but maybe I'll give it a shot. It's probably like HeroScape where you kind of set up your factions and go at each other, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, steamforged, man. You guys hit it out of the park again. You guys have made another cool model grouping here that I am definitely glad to add to the old miniature library, and I really look forward to painting them, making them look cool, and using them for my tabletop gaming, whether D&D or other. So, man, that's really awesome. So if you're looking for mine, I'm giving this one 2 thumbs, man. 2 thumbs up. It's great. I literally could not think of anything better. And honestly, I know someone's probably like, but wait, aren't you very heavy on like dragons should have 4 legs and 2 wings? You know what? Lesser dragons count as dragons too, guys. They deserve to be there. And they look really cool. And the female leader of this, she didn't disappoint. Now, I was scared that without her wings like Lily had, it's going to be disappointing, but she has a regality to her stance, her pose, that I don't at all mind. So yeah, you did good. You did good, Steamforged. You did good. I'm hoping WizKids can learn to sell their product at a good price like you guys, and yet bring this level of quality to the table. Because lately they've been raising their price, and their quality levels are not improving. Okay, not gonna throw any more digs. But anyway, guys, I thank you for staying this far. I'm gonna say one more time, please. Hot press that like button. Fire blast that subscribe if you have not done so already. And make sure you share the video, guys. Helps the channel grow, and the more it grows, the more stuff I'm going to get into. Anyway, guys, have a great one, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.